So after a couple of days, we needed to take the van back to the UK and bring the car over. We'd already done the surfer form, which is what you need to do on your first entry. The first day you come across, when you get to border, you need to have 3 copies of your surfer 1007. Let me just check, is it 73 or 70? But you do need 3 copies. And you also need to have like an Excel spreadsheet or some paperwork with everything that you're bringing across, and your car needs to go on the top. So you need to put your car details on the top, you need to have its VIN number on, and then when you bring the car across, if it's not done at the time, you need to have bill of sale, insurance, French insurance. UK insurance is not valid from the moment you get into being a French resident, which is that day. The documents for the car do need to be started within the first month as well. So you do need to be aware of that. When you bring your car in, you also need to ask them for a form 846A. That took us some time for them to get, not because we didn't have the documents, they just didn't know what to do. But we did get that. They didn't check the car from that point of view. They didn't check the VIN number was correct or anything. We gave them the bill of sale, we gave them the V5 and proof of address, and they came back 10 minutes later with a signed 846A. Not an issue. When we'd gone back to the UK as well, we did do a little bit of a background to get additional supplies. You are allowed to bring an allowance over the equivalent of €300 each in terms of goods. I'm sure we worked it out just about right. You can't combine it either. It has to be. So you can't go out and say, right, I've got one item and it's 450 euros that I'm bringing in. No, it has to be 300 for you and 300 for the next person. It does vary as well as to value depending on how you come across, but we came across on ferry. So again, that was 300 for us. A couple of days later, some friends kind of came over with the caravan, parked it right outside the door at the front there, and the next day the local Marie turned up. 8:30, I'm in my PJs, Andrew doesn't speak a word of French, he doesn't speak a word of English, very early, very cold, so I had to just make my apologies, say hi, those kind of things, and arrange to meet him at another date, because it was nice to see him, but not at 8:30. So we did that. So some friends brought the caravan over for us, which was really helpful. They helped with putting the fence in. They helped with putting the gate in. They helped take some of the concrete out of the barns that I'll show you. Strimming, mowing everything down, sanding doors, helping us paint, and obviously help us put up that legal post box. It would have been nice to have one that I saw, which was nice, with little robins on it and decorated. But no, you have to have the legal standard. Okay. So we did that, and then, like I say, about 2 weeks later, we went back for Dad's funeral. Stepmom still wasn't very well. At one point, she was in hospital, so that was a little bit of a concern. So we did go back. We stayed at some friends. And again, we used our allowance, and we brought back some more items. I'm sure that it was touch and go on the value at that time. So yeah, that was done. Then we decided, okay, we need to crack on. We need to secure an architect. And here, when you sign for your house and you get given the keys, and they give you a list of people that can help, and in there was an architect. So we did contact him. He came, had a look, and said it was too big. There are certain levels that you are qualified to do, and this gentleman wasn't qualified for anything after 150 square metres. Or was it 250? It might have been 250. Either way, it wasn't going to cost us 800 euros. It was going to cost 4 or 5 grand. So we secured an architect from that point of view. And then we had to start some of the paperwork. You need to validate your visas within 3 months of the visa issue date, not the other way around, not 3 months of arrival. There's a bit of contesting as to what that was, so we made sure we did it. To validate them, you do go online, obviously go onto their system, and you have to pay 200 euros each to validate the visa, and that needs to be done every year. So we've done it for this year, and because the process is so slow, even though our visas don't run out till January 2024, we need to start the process between 4 and 2 months before that date. So that's what we'll do. But I'll tell you a little bit more later because we might be able to get a 4-year one next. So yeah, we secured the architect. Oh, there, we had to pay the deposit. So the architect's deposit to begin with was €1,500 before they'd lift a finger or come and see us. I did make sure we got quite a few questions down. Obviously, it's all new to us, so it might have seemed like silly questions to him, but it made sure that we went through things. The first draft of the plans wasn't correct, but the second draft is correct. That will go in hopefully today. I do need to pay him today, and I think it's about another £3,500, and that includes the survey, because when you start the process for air loading, you have to have a survey on the soil. We know that we need another septic tank. We've got one out the back, and we were hoping to have a small one out the front so that we'd have 2. There's nothing wrong with that one other than the filter bed. The idea was to switch that around and put a new one in. But no, the soil at the front is totally inappropriate, not suitable at all. So we have to have another one at the back. So I was hoping to have just a larger one. The soil is not suitable for the new rules and regulations. So we have to have a double system. So that's 2 tanks, and then all the way along this side, a run to a filter bed over that side of the house. I was estimating that I would be happy between 6,000 and 8,000. I think Andy thought a little bit less, but no, because it's a new one, it's going to be 16,000 or thereabouts. That will be last. We can do everything before that. So yeah, 16,000 is a bitter pill to swallow. So we're going to organise some people to come and quote, with a view to the fact that we do know people with diggers. We should be able to reduce some of that cost a little. And if we purchase the system direct, then that will save a little bit of TVA, which is what they call VAT, because the person buying it won't have to pay cotisans, something like that. It's a word I can't pronounce yet, and it's something to do with their personal tax. So if they purchase it and take money off us, that's classed as earnings. Bizarre. We've also started to have deliveries, and that was quite difficult to begin with. What I would firmly recommend to everybody is you can't get deliveries until you have a French SIM on your phone. So we'd organised for our friend to take the first call. She did. That first call was to get the delivery of the internet box, the live box, and the French SIM, so that we could then start ordering more stuff online and take our own phone calls. That was a nightmare. He was so rude because he couldn't find us. But it taught me a lesson. When I take phone calls now, if I have a problem in the language, I've got their mobile number. I've put a little cut and paste French, we are behind the South Affairs, we've got a caravan in the garden, this is how you access us, and a map. So I quickly send that, so there's no reason that they can turn around and say they can't find us. So that has helped a lot. And obviously writing loads of lists, loads of shopping, all those kind of things. Okay, talking of shopping, not going to food shopping at the moment. I'll perhaps do a video on that separately. Ignore the noise outside. We needed a cement mixer quickly. Not a new one. They take ages to get here, so we trawled Facebook and managed to find one for about €100 that had only been owned by one person, so that was good. We needed a breaker so that we could start to take out some of the concrete from the barns. I think that's about 175, so that wasn't too bad. We were going to sell it on, but we've now got more concrete, so we're glad we kept it. A trailer is a must. When you take out your car insurance, you need to make sure of a couple of things. One, what size trailer you can pull without its own insurance. Ours is up to 750, but anything above a 500 needs its own registration. Not going to happen, so we just got a 500. Also, when you're doing insurance, you need to be very careful of questioning what you're getting into. It's not the same as in the UK. So for breakdown cover, for example, we need to understand if we break down what the process is. And by this, what I mean is, will they take us to a garage of our choice if we get towed? Or is it to a garage of the person towing us, their choice? It is. So if you break down, say, 400 miles from home, your car will be left at the local garage. End of. And you'll need to sort that out later. And the cost of sorting it out is also for you to bear. When we took out the insurance, I did question, okay, so breakdown cover, does that cover us from breaking down at home? No. So we had that added on. You really need to be very, very vigilant in terms of that. Prices seem to hold quite ridiculous here in terms of second-hand goods on Facebook and in Bacons. We did get some ladders, €110, so second-hand ladders wasn't great. Hose pipe, oh my word, if you brought a new hose pipe on the reel from a shop, €100. Not good, but we did manage to pick one up for €25, so that was a godsend. It's just so expensive on some things. You couldn't sell a table in the UK on Facebook. Nobody wants a dining table. We cannot get one for €100 and €150 here, and they ain't that great. They need a lot of work. If you go to a shop or a brocante, you could be paying $300-400 for a second-hand table. Ridiculous. Chairs, 10 to a penny, but they still think that they can get €30 for them. So we're still waiting for hours. Hopefully, we're going to be able to pick one up in the next couple of days. Somebody has backed out of a sale. Well, I say close to us, it's an hour away. That is close. So if they're still there, I think it's Monday, then we can get that table and chairs. Okay, so what have we achieved so far? You know what, I do hope this all goes through in one go. Okay, so in the master bedroom, we stripped the walls. The floor was disgusting. A kid, I say a kid, somebody had craned over everything, in the radiators, on the floors, on the walls, on the door. There was even red paint on the ceiling. So the walls were stripped. Turns out they hadn't prepared the walls for wallpaper. That was great. And the floors were stripped. I say we, it is a royal we, is outside. Treated the floors, varnished the floors. We put wallpaper back on the walls because the walls were so uneven. We've then painted them. We've managed to get the bed. Like I said, the bed wasn't cheap. We've got 2 bedside tables that were painted with chalk paint. We've managed to get a dressing table. The sofa was our own up there. It's nice to have a little bit of a seating area because the room is quite big. But also because of the stairs. Can't really have traditional furniture going up because it's just not possible to get them up the stairs. So we've done that. We had our own curtains, but again, due to the number of rooms here, we've changed the ones in the bedroom and we've brought them. They were only €60 though, but I don't need ones that actually close as such because of the way the radiators are. And also we have mechanical shutters. So we don't really need curtains for the purpose of closing them. It's just decoration. And bedroom 2, we've put 2 singles in there which could be slotted together. They came with headboards, which is what we're missing in bedroom 1, so we do need to sort that out. And the mattresses, oh my word, they are so deep. You're talking that, whereas in the UK you're probably talking that. Again, we've got an IKEA wardrobe up there. Don't particularly like them, but you know, needs must. Same situation, curtains, curtain poles, strip the floor, strip the walls, all those kind of things. And the VMC unit, which you have in the house. A lot of houses do seem to have this. I'm not really sure why, but they do seem to have them on, and they have to be on constant, so it's either on low or high. It starts in the bathroom. We've got a vent in the kitchen, a vent in one of the rooms upstairs. That has had to be replaced. I'd forgotten about that. I think we paid $150 for a new VMC and about €30 for it to be installed, so that wasn't too bad. Lights in the bedrooms, you're probably talking about €40-50 each, just for basic lights. You can go to town. They do have some very nice lights, but you are talking $200-300. Stairwell, we did get somebody in to help us with the stairs because it's so steep. We had the wallpaper taken off. We put new wallpaper in. We've painted the stairs after treating them so that they are white. They're going to have treads on. And that's all been done. And painter and decorator, I think there's about it wasn't. It was 550 for 2 days worth of work, not including materials. So again, not cheap, but we needed it done and we needed the help. Got a bit of touching up of gloss work to do there. The paint here, atrocious, must say. Say it and reiterate that. You've probably heard it already. Yeah, it's not great. The floors have had 5 coats and probably need a 6. And I need to touch up where some damage was done. The dining room, that was all, again, I'll put some posters so you can see it was all literally plasterboard, and that was it. That's how they lived. So that has been sanded back, all the holes are built. There must have been about 200 holes in the ceiling and walls of the living room and dining room, so that's all been taken care of. And we've just got a few things to do in there, and like I say, we might have a dining room table and chairs next week. We've got a click-clack sofa that will take us, when we rent the house out, from 4 persons to 6, because that sofa bed can be downstairs. So that, once it's been cleaned. Again, it was a good price, but she did turn around last night and say, by the way, it's a little dusty. But we were going to clean it anyway, so it's now outside, it's had its first wash. We went to get them from a place in Domfront, turns out we know the person. Of all things, you come to France and you know the person that you're buying stuff from. So yeah, we got a good deal on that. And again, we do need more from him. We've brought our own lawnmower, self-propelled one. Andy uses that because for me it would just literally dive straight off. It took me about 6 hours to go through the sites, the French sites, because you need to order from a French site. And the reason you need to order from a French site is if you order from a UK one, you will pay customs. So you'll pay more customs and more handling charges for the higher value of the goods that you bring in. So we use manomano.fr quite a lot, which is quite good, but the site's glitchy. So it did take a long while to find what we wanted. Big wheeled, self-propelled. I think it's about €450, but by this time the notaire had processed everything, boss entities, and realised that we would use some money back. I think the notaire's fees were 5,500. So again, not cheap. So we got a couple of hundred back, so it all helps. The garage, I'll show you later, it's about 8.5 foot by 3.5 foot, so it's not a small garage. That was just a mud floor, so we decided that we were going to concrete that ourselves in stages, so that we could get that done for cheaper than it would be to bring somebody in. And it was. It allowed us to dip in and dip out of doing that work. We could do a couple of blocks, then do something else, then go back. So yes, we had the ballast and cement ordered from that. That was interesting. Trying to explain what you want in English, MOT. It's not called MOT. They have no equivalent of that. So saying MOT and trying to, in Andy's way of saying it goes under concrete, didn't get him anywhere. Okay. So again, that's done. We just need to put the doors on, and that will be some storage areas. And that's another reason why we didn't get self-levelling or a pouring concrete, because we just didn't need it. It literally is going to be for storage. So there was no point in paying thousands and thousands and thousands, especially seeing as though our ground was so unlevel and we'd knocked out some concrete. We had a lot of the ballast itself to put down. Okay, I'm just looking at this. Right, I'll go through this separate. What you have to do for a professional liberal visa. Okay, so part of your contract of coming over on a working visa, professional liberal, is that you need to attend medicals, and our nearest place is Caen, so that's an hour away. You have chest x-rays, and then you have to wait to see a doctor for medicals who goes through things like your childhood vaccinations, what medication you're on now, all those kind of things, as well as an eye test, blood pressure, all those kind of things. So you go first for your x-ray, which is in one part of the city. You wait to take your own x-rays, which you keep. Then you walk across and go and wait in turn to see the doctor. Once you've done that, he'll then tell you, you know, if everything's okay with the chest x-ray, which it was, obviously. But we both got a little slip. It's just like a compliment slip, telling us that we have to have extra polio vaccinations. So when we came out, they gave us a leaflet, and they have a website called Doctor.lib. And as you haven't got doctors when you first come over here, you go on there, and there's several places that you can go to, and these vaccinations will be free of charge. So we've got to do that, and we've got to show that it's been done. Then you have a big wait. So we went to a coffee bar. We had a couple of coffees, bit of cheesecake, walk around. Then we went somewhere else for something to eat, because there's about a 3-hour gap in between these meetings. So we had something to eat, looked at our paperwork, started to get a bit nervous. And then you go back to what they call the OFII office, which is, it's quite a big place, very secure. You can't just wait and walk in. We got there thinking, okay, well, if our tests start at, I think it was 1:45, they'll probably let us in 15 minutes early so we can, you know, find where we need to go, find somewhere to sit, and take our place at a test station. Oh no, we had to wait outside. Everybody waits outside. And there was a punch-up. So that in itself was a bit surreal, from the point of it was men and women all queuing to get up, pushing each other out of the way, saying who should be first, who should be second. Nothing happened, security didn't stop it, but they saw that we'd got paperwork and realised that we were for our tests and allowed us into another section of the building. So we went upstairs. There must have been about 20 of us this time. You had very little compact school-type desks, and they don't speak a word of English. This is your test. So they explain to you, so I'm just making sure it's not a wasp, that in French, they explain to you that this is your written test. There are 4 tests to do. They go through each one, the first one being to fill in your personal details for a carte de fidelity, which is like a store shop card. The second one is to reply to text messages that follow on from each other. The third one was to read a full page of French. Then you had 4 multiple choice answers. And then finally, you had to write an email to somebody. So it's quite intense. And you had 20 minutes to do the whole lot. That's the first part. So managed that. Writing started off really neat. Okay, obviously it ended up a mess. After that, you then get called in for a 1-to-1 oral. After which they decide whether to mandate any French learning lessons. I fortunately have a written of A2, which is just above basic, and verbal of A1, so I didn't get mandated. You could get up to 600 hours. Andy got 200. So on top of that, what we have to now do is attend 4 civilian days, which hopefully will be in English, but a friend attended the same place as what we did. Hers was in Arabic and French. So we have 4 days to do of that. And at the end you get a certificate that we can take for next year's visas and say that we've done that. That's your commitment. Andy also has to do the 200 hours. So next Tuesday, I think it is, we have a half-an-hour appointment, like an integration to say this is where you'll be coming, this is where your lessons will be. They are not formatted lessons. They are not in English, 100% in French. You can test out within half the time. So if you get allocated 600 hours, you can test out at 300. If you fail that test like you did to begin with, you have to wait till the very end. We worked out it's about 31 days, depending on how many hours a day that they do. And you drop in to the lessons that are currently there with people that may have been there for a week, may have been there for a day, may have been there for a year. So, means to an end. Can't say much more than that. can't think of anything else that we've had to do. I'm sure there is loads. I'm sure you've had loads to watch. And like I said, I'm not sure if I've done this video now over one upload or two due to so much being in there. But I've tried to keep all the details and the costings together for you. I'm just having a look through my notes as well. I will probably do a blog on the food. Food's hit and miss from the price perspective. 5 chicken breasts, you're talking €12, so not cheap, but they're massive, so it does make a difference. Peppers, I think, what did I pay yesterday for one pepper? €1.20. So again, not automatically cheap, but again, the wine's cheap. We normally get a good bottle for between €4 and €5. The rosé that I like is a litre bottle for just over €4. So that's not too bad. You know, there are swings and roundabouts. One thing that we need to do now that we have validated the visas and we have been for OFII is we need to get onto the social security system, or their version, Amelie. Not heard great things, but I'm going to try that tomorrow. I'll let you know how that one goes. And I promise we will do more videos and more uploads on a more frequent level now that things have settled down. We have started, and I put up a couple of clips on, of going to the Greniers, which is their equivalent of a car boot, those kind of things. We have started to go to more music festivals. Not massive, it's not Glastonbury, but they're all very local, all very well attended. Some places have cheaper wine than others. The one that we went to, well, last night wasn't too bad, but a glass of wine can cost up to €7, whereas the one that we went to a couple of nights before was €3 for a glass, or £6 for the bottle. So again, you have to get used to these things. But yeah, we'll post more about that. And thank you for watching, as always. And it's been a bit vacant, as always. If you like what you've heard, please, press the like and subscribe buttons and notifications. If you have any questions on what we've gone through, or costings, or questions on costings, please just put them. I'll try and get back to you as soon as possible. We now have internet, so it is possible. Although I don't know how long it's going to be to upload this. It seems to be very slow, even though it's fibre. Yeah, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye.